Hi, this is Cecilia from Tarot by Cecilia, and this is your weekly tarot guidance for the week of January 16th to the 22nd of 2017. So, what do we have going on this week? Well, I'll tell you, it's a pretty quiet week. I think really not, in all fairness, but the sun will enter Aquarius this week on the 19th. And I don't have anything else written down for the week. I'm sure there's plenty of things going on in the sky, though. However, this is a week that I'm sure will be long remembered. And we'll have to see how this plays out here in the cards. Because I'll tell you what. Oh, and you know what? I'm using that new Carnival deck again this week. Oh, I love this. These cards are gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. The artwork is magnificent on these. So this makes it so much more fun to read them. And I'll tell you what. It's like, what? Oh, dear. Yeah. Just the idea, I think many will feel. I'm trying to find a non-scary way to put this. But, you know, it's that darn inauguration. It's just such a bad thing, an anxiety trigger for many, you know, and there is the need for rest, for recovery. It takes all of the patience that you can muster up to, you know, and this is global, mind you. This isn't just in the United States. Everybody feels this because something has gone horribly wrong in the world. And I'll tell you what, it's a crazy thing. It promises to be a volatile week. I don't necessarily mean as in violence-wise, but I see things here. I see the protest. I see the posters, all of those things going on. I know many of you out there who listen to me are planning on attending marches, whether it's in New York City or Washington, D.C., or whatever. But that, oh my goodness, just the, you know, and at the same time, trying to be that pillar of strength, that not, you know, it's not that you're being nasty. It's just not sure if you have the strength to survive, you know, possibly 4 years of something that could hurt the world in such a way that it could never recover. So this is a big, big week, people. It really, truly is, even though there's not, like I said, you know, all these things that are going on. But we're entering a new cycle, and, you know, things are they're gonna change, and they're going to change drastically, all right? You know, what I see here, my goodness, I want to relate it to, but you know what? It's what's on everybody's minds. You know, here you have a very kind and gentle person, you know, very generous of spirit, who has, I want to say, rewarded many with his presence, okay? And this is all, it's all been disrupted. It really, truly is. You know, there are hard times that are coming. It feels this way, okay? I have to tell you, I think it's because of the impact of this week that there are a lot of people feeling these things. You know, there's a lot of sacrifices being made. A lot of things are changing, like totally upending the old order. So it's like a life-altering week. I'm amazed by this, to be honest with you. And yet, at the same time, you know what? You can look toward your future, your own personal future, in a very positive way. All right? You've gained ground. You're able to defend yourself. I think some fun is going to be in order for everyone. You know, there is a positive, like, to this. Right when the sun is entering Aquarius, okay, we're going to have that change. You're taking up that position. Now, trying to remain grounded through everything that's going on. And this is not just global, this is personal. I'll be honest with you. There is not, like, no one's caving here. No one's backing down. And this is on all levels. No one is backing down. You've made all this progress. You intend to keep it. You're holding your position. I think it's all fantastic. There's a little bit of confusion around things, all right? Because there's a tremendous loss that's felt. And it's going to be felt for a while until things are done about it. But, it's an unusual week. I can't get over it. I really, truly can't. I think that it's one that is marked by extremes, okay? The highs, the lows, the positives, the negatives. There are, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. There are wishes coming true. Those who are clowns, I guess. This is a carnival deck. Those who are clowns will always be clowns, and that is how they will be seen. And yeah, you gotta call them like you see them. So, change. Wow, I'll tell you what. Change is coming, but at the same time, it feels stalled. Something this week in the universe feels stalled. All right, I see that in a few places, and I'm like, okay, what's the holdup? What's going on? Very interesting. Okay, I do believe that it's important, especially with all this stuff that's here, and I can see everybody's like getting all, everywhere, because it impacts the whole entire world. What is happening this week? Okay, so now here's the thing. Everybody needs to go within and focus on themselves. Take some alone time. There's a lot going on here. It's all about, grounding yourself and getting back in touch with you, leaving that whole outside world behind, because this new cycle that you're entering, that the world is entering, it's got its stresses, it's got its highs, it's got its lows, and it's going to be definitely one for the history books. It's going to be unusual, okay? I can't emphasize all of that enough. Now, we are still in the midst of a transition, okay? It's not, how can I put this? It's not the big transition. I almost think, and I've been waiting to see this happen for many, many years, okay? So I want to tell you that the big transition comes May 22nd. Somewhere around there is when it begins, all right? And mark your calendar, because the days after that is when you're headed for that new life that definitely puts behind everything. It's so tough to explain, because if you go each person, all right, and say that you've had this old life that you left behind, and you're working on all the things, trying to figure out how you're going to lead the new life, right? And I think that what's going on here this week with some of you is that you're thinking that perhaps that the goings on in the world are going to affect your personal life in such a way that perhaps you can't do the plans that you thought. That might be true for some. I don't think it's such a big deal for as many. But your focus this week truly needs to be on you. And when you do that, you'll be able to move forward. You'll be able to find the positive. Okay? Try not to, I'm going to say, like, overdo Facebook or the news or whatever, because you have new beginnings here, and you have a lot of clarity available to you, like real raw power that you can harness. Okay? It's kind of like not all at once kind of thing. I think it's like a little bit in bits and pieces. All right? if that makes any sense. Because you're still, even though you have more clarity, I think really trying to deal with the reality. Now, what's interesting, in back to what we have going on, all right, there's a lot of people out there who pretend to be, and this can be in your own personal life as well, but who pretend to be someone that they're not. All those masks are going to begin to come off. All right? It may not all happen in a day, but it is going to begin to happen. And I believe you will begin to see it almost immediately. Okay? Yeah. There is that, I want to say you start feeling inspired again. Because where there's that kind of like, I don't know, I'm not sure, I'm just not sure, and then boom, there's your power. There's what, and it could even be, needing the sun to move on into the next sign, watching some energy shift and things. It's a very, very interesting time for you. Okay? You want to rush through this transition. I keep saying this all the time. Do not, all right? Don't make any hasty decisions, any impulsive moves. Most of these things that you're doing, like right now, if I think I've been pretty consistent with what I've been saying all along about like all those things that have been on the back burner that you've been working on, you can be rolling them out now, okay? But the things that are like brand new, that really need like a launch date, we'll talk about them probably next week, okay? It'll be a different time, and I think we'll see those things come up. But this week you need to be working on them and focusing on, that security that you need, because there are enough positives here to start working on the stress. And what I always say about stress is to work on it one thing at a time. Okay? Very important. I mean, sometimes you get lucky and you can go boom, 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 boom. But that's just it. When you start knocking stress down, if you do the little things first, the big things don't feel as daunting when they are all that remain, because you've cleared the way to be able to work on them. Now, insofar as, the cycle that I referred to, being able to enter a new cycle, I kind of think it's one where you close a door on something painful, and it hasn't been one big issue all along. I think there was a big issue that created many other issues. So there's a lot of things to do, but things are like starting to gel, and you're going to kind of feel like maybe there is a good new beginning that's coming, where you're packing your bags and getting ready, for that trip for the universe. But there is a big, big focus toward security this week. So if the area where you felt betrayed by the universe, by people, whatever, was, let's say, in the area of finances, you're going to find that, you're kind of done with the parts that gave you such a hard time, and you're manifesting, okay? And this is a good thing that you're doing, all right? Little beginnings, yeah, that's what it is. Like little beginnings, like little victories. You have to accept them all as they come. I mean, obviously, most of you aren't going to go out and win the lottery and win a big jackpot or anything like that. But there are minor victories along the way which take you to a better place. So you have to keep that in mind. There is also here this week that being able to tackle bad habits, okay? And this makes sense to me. I mean, right now, you don't have any, retrograde planets. Mercury is still in shadow through the 27th, but every day it's picking up more speed. So, there's a lot of things this week that are becoming clearer, that are becoming easier, and that may even be one of them. You remember when I spoke about this, I might have been on Patreon, talking about, resolutions and things of that nature, and saying to wait, because to start them at the beginning of the year really wouldn't have done you much good. So I think you're getting to that point where now you're eyeing them and saying, okay, I think I'm ready. I've accomplished this much. I've made all this happen. I'd still like to see this happen. I'd like to drop 10 pounds. I'd like to, start that gym membership. This, that, the other thing, whatever it is you have in mind. I'd like to learn a new craft this year. Whatever that resolution would have been, I think you're finally eyeing it, and you're working on things that will make you better for you. There are still a great many responsibilities to deal with, and also, that leaving behind kind of thing going on. But it's in a good way, all right? You're learning how to, I want to say, really prioritize things in life, okay? To those responsibilities, you might have some that you want to get rid of along the way, but in the meantime, you kind of need to make it all work. And it's showing me here that you can. There is always that, I think, self-doubt that creeps in once in a while. And it's like, let it go. Just let that go. There is some real take charge energy here. But I'll tell you what, it's taking charge, but kind of after you snuck in. All right? And the best way I can explain that is kind of like the back door approach. Whatever you've been working on, you didn't kind of come barging to the forefront and saying, hey, I'm here, da da da, and make a big ruckus about it. You just kind of we're there. And then all of a sudden, it's like everybody realizes you're there. That's the best way I can explain a backdoor approach. Don't let them see you coming. And once you're there and you got your foot in the door, right, you can accomplish quite a bit. So there's some interesting things happening here for you where I think you can even juggle some, I want to say, work time and play time, get together, have a little bit of a social life, So, in other words, whatever happens this week, it's about making the best of it. Because I'm telling you, this week starts off feeling like you need the patience of Job. And, what I'm noticing here too is that, when it comes to, and I want to use the words fighting and battling, not necessarily arguing, but more like where people think that they have won. And the fact of the matter is that they haven't. All right, you're going to see this a great deal. Okay, it's something that's going to be very prominent. Sadly so. It's kind of like when someone thinks they have won and they have all the toys. But what usually happens when that happens? Probably you have no friends. So, watch those kind of things going on around you, with people who feel like, it's that win at all cost. That's all that matters. That's not really a victory. Keep that in mind. So don't be one of them, really, is what I'm trying to say here. Because this is, like I said, this is a very up and down week. There's a lot that's happening. It has its extremes. It has its highs. It has its lows. And depending upon who you are and what you're involved in and what you're doing is going to really depend upon how you experience them, okay? But many, many things are taking place. So, I want to thank you all for listening. I can't wait to hear about your week, to be honest with you. And I'll see you here again next week. Take care.